Hello again, I am Blunty, and today I'm going to break down why you should go out and buy Infamous Second Son. That's right, I'm not keeping you in suspense, I'm not making you wait till the end to find out my final verdict. I'm telling you right now, this is an excellent game. I'd go as far to say superb even. And you don't even have to have played the original PS3 titles, because we're dealing with a new lead character here and a new story altogether. But if you have played the originals, well, this game is even better. It is better in every way, in fact. So, let's take a look at why this game is so fantastic. Fair warning, of course, this is a review, so you may see or hear things that you might consider mild spoilers. But I won't be talking about the details of this story or its progression, and I won't be showing you anything beyond the first few hours of the game, so it's pretty safe.
Keep arresting my own brother over and over and over again?
Maybe you should stop arresting your brother over and over and over again.
You think this is a joke?
No, I don't.
Is this how you want to leave your mark on the world, huh? You think this would make our parents proud? Misdemeanor vandalism?
Listen, man, there's a lot of scary shit in the world, and while I'm out there actually trying to assert my talent...
You're trying to
cause...
assert your talent? I mean, what the
Why
hell
do
are you
always
even
do
talking
this,
about?
Reggie? Why don't you just let me be who I am?
Tell me what big, bad,
if
scary
you would listen,
shit you're
I
gonna
would
scare us
explain
from.
it to you.
Really? Because I don't seem to get
Reggie?
it. What?
Truck.
Now then, at the base of things, this is an open world superhero game. You get to explore a very beautifully rendered version of Seattle, and your main job is to kick the ever-loving bejeebus out of a bunch of fascist, military-industrial, hypocritical, oppressive knob jockeys who are quite determined to rid the world of people just like you, people with power. The gifted, once called conduits, are now labelled bioterrorists. But you'll dismantle the installations of this so-called Department of Unified Protection. You'll smash their surveillance equipment, destroy their infrastructure, loose their prisoners, free up whole sections of the city from their control, and generally be a gigantic pain in their asses. All while on a manhunt of your own so you can achieve the goal that set you out on this path in the first place.
Holy shit, dude.
Oh, thanks, man. I thought I was gonna die. Hey, you alright? Hey, let him go! Just let him go and keep your hands where I can see him. I don't want to hurt nobody. I just want to get going before she gets here. I said let him go or I will shoot you.
Fresh?
I said I don't want to hurt nobody.
The core story is actually very compelling and well woven. All the characters, although often a bit thin and one-dimensional, do have well written and very well performed dialogue, and usually they are very believable in their motivations, attitudes and general behaviour. The rather engaging story flows quite naturally and effortlessly, whether you're deep in the core arc or screwing around exploring or doing side missions. The pacing and flow always feel extremely well crafted. I was never bored, I was never confused about what needs to be done next, never stuck, never without something fun to do. It's one of the best flowing games of its type out there, and it bypasses almost all of the usual hitches and hang-ups that can happen in open world games. It's also, as I mentioned before, a stunningly pretty game, and I'm not just talking about the wonderful environment, but the animations, both in play and in the cutscene stuff. The character models and the animation are top-notch, smooth, natural feeling all the way through. Also of note, the lighting effects and particle systems at play when you use the various powers and abilities you pick up throughout the gameplay. It's here where you start really getting a feeling for the PS4's grunt at work. It's also one of those games that's just so pretty, the photographer in me comes out and starts moving the camera about and framing up scenes to take advantage of the PS4's screenshot button. Moving about this pretty city doesn't feel like the chore it can be in some open world games. Whether you're moving about the local environment or charging off to another corner of the map, it all feels smooth, elegant and effortless. I've never accidentally clung to a ledge I didn't mean to climb. I've never accidentally leapt clear off a building when all I want to do was stand on the ledge. If I want to climb something, I can do so naturally and instinctively, and using the various traversal and travel abilities certain powers give you feels similarly intuitive. And that's another thing, the world traversal and battles are kept fresh feeling throughout the game thanks to the ability to switch out for different power sets. You'll start off with smoke-based powers, but the hero Deslin is a self-described power sponge, and like Rogue from the X-Men can actually absorb powers from other gifted individuals, and a large part of the plot and progression of the story relies on you obtaining different powers, like Neon. and each new power affects the way you fight and get around the world in interesting ways.
Can't be ashamed for what you are. Can't help it. You were born that way.
All that matters is I'm one of them now.
You are not one of those beady-eyed bioterrorists who go around killing people higgly-piggly. You're a good boy. Just happen to have smoke coming out of your fingers.
The skill trees are well done too. You won't have to grind or go on endless long-ass fetch quests to build up your skills or power levels. Here too, things flow in a natural and compelling way. It doesn't feel cheap, but it doesn't make you dread the grind of trying to reach the next level of power either. One of the marketing catch cries in the lead up to this game was, "Enjoy your power," and they've delivered on that superbly well. You really do feel Deslin's excitement and breathless thrill of obtaining new tricks, and also in using them throughout the game. So often the lead characters in this type of game are too cool to acknowledge how awesome they are. They take their bad-assedness for granted, and they treat their superhuman abilities to kick butt 7 ways of Sunday like a normal person would treat opening a jar of jam. Not Deslin. He cackles with infectious enthusiasm every time he learns a new way to be friggin' awesome.
Oh, this is going to be epic!
Seem to be getting the hang of your, new symptoms.
Right? And of course, the only downside being that, nope, can't think of anything. This is pretty freaking awesome.
Really?
He might just be the most enjoyable character in video games in a very long time. I mean, you are doing something important here. You're on a life or death mission, but that doesn't mean you have to be a grim, scowling misery guts about it all. You're allowed to have fun and marvel at the epicness of your newfound superpowers, and that's fun. Like in the previous Infamous titles, there's a karma system at play. You can murder your opposition, or you can merely subdue them. You can play extra carefully to avoid harming innocent non-combatant bystanders, or you can call them casualties of war and not bother about them that much. You can accept a surrender, or you can fill up another body bag with a charred corpse. Every time you make that choice, you earn good or bad karma, and using these karma points, you can unlock certain abilities, and those will of course change depending on if you're trying to be a good guy or a power-mad psycho. You can also fight in whatever way you like, really. You can run and gun it, you can go toe-to-toe brawler style, you can strike and retreat like a ninja carving up the opposition forces one at a time, or you can dance across the rooftops sniping your victims from 12 stories up. Each playstyle is equally valid, and you won't be punished or held at a particular disadvantage for choosing one over the other. So long as the job gets done and you're having fun, the game doesn't care how you do it. This freedom, paired with the wonderfully fun powers, makes for an exceptionally rewarding experience, and the difficulty ramps up at a nice even pace too. There's always a challenge here, but it never suddenly just kicks your teeth in without warning just because it can. Now, it's not a perfect game, not by any measure. There's some dry old cliches here that are a bit on the nose. The good versus evil choices in the cutscene story points are all very, very black or white. There's no difficult or interesting wrestling with morality here. It's all pretty much, would you like to be a nice guy and have some chocolate? Or would you like to be a complete sodding sociopath and tear the heads off some puppies for a laugh? It's not very subtle, it's not very nuanced. Also, the camera, though largely well behaved, can sometimes blind you at rather inopportune moments. And while the game looks properly stunningly new-gen, doing things with such vivid, crystal-clear clarity and fidelity that the PS3 couldn't even come close to, the core gameplay takes no risks to be something fresher. Its most basic skeleton really is just the same as you'll find in fistfuls of other great open-world power fantasy games, like Arkham City. I mean, I can't really fault it for that, but for a game designed to be a showcase for the next generation console, it would have been nifty to see them push past this framework just a little bit harder. But its worst sin is the use of the motion sensor and touchpad on the PS4's fancy new controller. It all feels very, very tacked on and frankly annoying at times. Remember the first year or so of the Wii games that all crammed in waggle mechanics when really button presses should have been used? It's a bit like that. It's all a bit clumsy and it breaks the game flow a bit, but it's ultimately forgivable. It is perhaps my least favourite thing about the game, but it's not that bad. In every other corner of the experience, Infamous Second Son comes off as an excellently crafted, well-balanced, nicely refined, and above all else, fun. As far as I'm concerned, this is the first high watermark set for the still very young PlayStation 4. It's the best looking game it has so far, it's the best written game it has so far, it's the best acted, and it's the most fun to play. It's a very, very satisfying experience. It's a true power fantasy, and it has joy within it. But it also has some wonderfully subtle, very, very human moments in there as well that also feel quite rewarding. It even has some decent replay value, as many games with this kind of good or evil choice system can have. You know, you play through it again, you make the opposite choices to see what changes. If you have a PlayStation 4, you should get this game. If you don't have a PS4 but have been waiting for a reason to snatch one up, well, this is a pretty good one. It's not very adventurous in what it does, but what it does do, it does it in a highly polished and very enjoyable way. A game well worth playing in my humble opinion. Thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.
Get some new powers. We own the streets! Take it easy. A few streets in the immediate vicinity, alright? The DUP still owns the other 98%. But we kicked them off the Space Needle, man! You knocked out their comm center, okay? They may be deaf, but they're not dumb. Kicking the DUP completely out of Seattle is gonna take time. We just got here.